Let's see what's up with Cliff Floyd. Cliff, welcome. How are you?
Good. What's going on, Mike?
All right. World Series. Who do you like and why?
Well, we did our predictions today, and very hard to pick one. Both these teams are evenly matched. I think when you look at the bullpens, they're even. When you look at the offense, neither one of them did anything in the championship series, but they was able to get to the World Series, so they did something right. Timely hitting was important. I gave the X factor to getting Alan Craig back in the lineup. Whether he does anything or not, you still talking about a guy that led the league, runs the scoring position, hit over 400. Just for the morale of the team, he's added. Now, I don't know about his durability coming back to the National League parks, but I'm going to go with him and being the catalyst. And I'm going with the Cardinals, man.
All right, so you like the starting pitching because that's their big edge. Buchholz and Lester haven't been great. Yuri Hara has. I think the Red Sox have a little deeper lineup. Yuri Hara has been great, but the Red Sox starting pitching, not as good. Cardinals starting pitching, terrific.
Yeah.
So, and it should be, I agree, a very, very evenly matched series. I like the Sox. I just think they've been red hot. Now, a couple of things. Big Papi, would you try to jam him in the lineup and put Napoli in the outfield? Or I guess you'd have to try and he'd have to go to the outfield. I don't know where else he would go.
Right.
So would you fool around with that? Or, because he hasn't caught all year and they're going to catch Saltamacchia, would you just leave Napoli, who's played well at first, and just pinch hit Big Papi when you need him in those 3 games in St. Louis?
No, I think you got to leave Papi in. I think when you look at what Napoli has done this year, Mike, he's been great. From what he's been through with that hip. But I think if you start messing around trying to put him in the outfield, you're asking for trouble. Big Papi's played first base. Napoli has definitely, with the last 2 games, left a mark. Left you something to think about because he's hit the big homer when you needed him. He's done some things lately that make you say, you know what, is this about feelings or is it about production? And the hot hand normally gets the start, but you are going against a right-handed dominant starting rotation.
All right-handed. Right-handed.
So you can look at it and not have to answer questions by going with Papi and him being left-handed.
So you're going to put Papi at first and Napoli on the bench, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. But and you're going to play him 6 innings and then go to defense, or you're going to go give him the whole and then put Napoli in, or you're going to go give him the whole games there, even though you worry about his defense?
Well, I'm going to give him 7 innings to see how how the game is playing. But this is also my game 1. I'm going with Papi. I won't go in him 3 games if he's just flat out, something he's struggling, or it's just to the point where you look at these first 2 games in Boston because you definitely they both going to be in the lineup.
Yep.
Once this gets to the National League parks, I'm going with game 1 Papi, and let's see how he does.
I don't even know this. Can he play the outfield? Could you put him in left? He can't.
I think the only thing we saw with Nap that would warrant the discussion is maybe him behind the dish. And Farrell said
he hasn't caught a game all year, though.
And Farrell said it all season. He wasn't going to, and he didn't.
Right. Beltran's a really good hitter, okay?
Right.
We know that. But so are a lot of other guys. Why do you think Beltran does so well in the postseason?
I think, for one thing, it starts with the first time you've done well in the postseason. He's always done well, whether it got down to, the nitty-gritty, and he has to come through. We've seen him, in my times, it's not about what you do in the clutch. It is to be a clutch player, but you're talking about overall why he's done so well, in my opinion. And overall, and Mike, you've seen this firsthand, he plays the game even keel. He doesn't get too high, too low. He always puts himself in a position where he can slow the game down and allow, the pitcher to make some mistakes. If you've seen his swing path from the time he came from Kansas City on down to now where he's in St. Louis, it's been the same. Nothing's changed. So that's why I believe him, Big Papi, Jeter can play, these games and do well in the postseason because they don't get too high. They allow the pitchers to make mistakes. They're never antsy when it comes for them to come through in crucial situations, whether it be, that he messed up. Because if you look back at 2006, and, of course, we're in New York City, I struck out before he did.
Yep.
So, and then you look at scenarios throughout the game, Mike. It wasn't just that at bat. Of course, it came down to that. But we also had a situation early in the inning that Scott Spezio got a hit 0-2.
Hey, the biggest at bat in that game with the bases loaded. You know who it is.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
He popped up with you know who I mean. What's called popped up with the bases loaded. The guy who played really well that year. I can't think of his name right now. Popped up with the bases loaded and 1 out. The guy who played so well in that game for the Mets played well that year. Who? Valentin popped up with the bases loaded. Yeah,
totally
that was with the one out. Yeah, Valentin popped. He'd been really good too. He popped up with the bases loaded. That was the big at bat in that game too. We're talking with Cliff Floyd. Cliff, the Sox struck out a lot against the Tigers.
Right.
Do you think the starters for the Cardinals can execute the same game plans, or do you think they'll have trouble executing the same game plans that the Tiger starters did to the Red Sox?
I think it's something that when you look at the confidence of these youngsters from the rotation standpoint with the Cardinals, I think you have to believe that you can rally them at some point. They haven't been spooked at any moment. You know, you look at, you know, Michael Walker, you found yourself an ace, but you look at how he's gotten here, Mike. You know, he went into PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Game 5, the blackout in Pittsburgh, what they've been able to overcome this season, and you beat them. And not only did you beat them, you almost threw a no-hitter.
Yep.
So, you know, you look at that and you go, well, I don't know if necessarily can you spook them. What you can try to do is rally them. What you can try to do is jump on them, have a game plan that you're going to execute. You're going to jump on them. Maybe you take some pitches to see how they are. You got to go at that angle. As far as spooking them and trying to, you know, intimidate them, that's not going to happen. They just figure out a way in St. Louis. They stay on the same page. They win together. They lose together. There's no pointing fingers, and they have no pressure. For some odd reason, I can't figure out. Maybe it's something in the water. They just get it done.